This is Rhino Tuff. Let's have a look at Rhino Tuff's Onyx Apes 14, an automatic paper ejector and stacker module. In this video, we will put it all together and see it in action. The Onyx Apes 14 comes with its own assembly box. Pull out all the parts and lay them down flat. With tools and parts ready to go, use the Allen wrench on the left and right hand side to remove the bolts so you can put your frame on. Be sure only to remove the front 2 bolts on the top row. When all 4 bolts are removed, use the provided bolts to take the carriage or the frame and put it on each side. Bolts go right in here, 2 on each side, fasten them all the way in, good and tight, nice and even. It will be these 2 frames on which the ejector portion of the Onyx Apes 14 will be fastened. When these are in place, make sure the top of the machine is completely clear, because we will set the paper ejector part of the Onyx Apes 14 right there. But before we do that, we first have to remove the paper stop. Simply unscrew it and pull it right off. Store it someplace safe. And if you have a palm switch installed on your Onyx HD7700, remove it as well. And now gently place the paper ejector portion of the machine right here on the top of the punch. Ensure that it is good and flush and the holes line up. Then use the plastic handled screws to screw in both sides, 1 on each side. When those are down good and tight, if you'd like to, you can replace the palm switch right here on the right hand side of the machine. With a smaller Allen wrench, loosen up the front screw, just enough to pull it out and slide the platform in. Tighten the bolt all the way down so it holds the platform in place. Then on this, you can attach your palm switch, setting it to your user preference. We've now finished installing the ejector. And now for the paper stacker portion, note that it will plug into the ejector right here with this cord, but let's wait till after we've assembled the whole thing. Set the stacker portion to the left of the machine, lining up the grooves on this platform. Then, with these 2 handles, slide it right down inside. They just push right in, they don't screw in. Now connect the ejector to the stacker to the punch, and the palm switch to the ejector. And you're all set. At this point, your Onyx setup should look like this, all lined up and ready to go. Let's begin with the finishing touches on the stacker side of the module. The last 2 plastic handle screws go right here on the top. Then the reception paper guide lines right up on that with these 2 grooves and tighten them down. When that's down good and tight and in place, the reception paper stop is then fastened to the guide. And now, moving over to the paper ejector side, the front and rear paper deflectors are to be installed. The front paper deflector goes right here underneath these 2 brass knobs. Tighten those down. And the rear paper deflector goes back here underneath these 2 brass knobs. And again, tighten those down. The 2 deflectors should be parallel and in there good and tight. There it is, assembly is finished. Now let's watch the whole system at work. On the left side of the stacker are 3 switches where you can disengage different parts. The stacker side, whether or not you're using the paper stop or the foot pedal, or portrait and landscape orientation. With these selections made, let's run a test paper. First, let's set it up. Let's punch a book using standard 8.5 by 11 paper. Using the screw in the back, set the reception paper stop to the size paper you're using, here 11 inch. In setting the paper inside, make sure the foam covered bar is about halfway up the paper. Next, we'll make adjustments to the stacker tray. These little knobs here pull right up so that you can adjust the tray on the bottom. Pull it out to the size that you need. Place your paper down inside. The top of the paper should go right along this edge of line A. Adjust the drawer accordingly. With that set, lock down the plastic knobs. With this book, we'll be using a 3-to-1 pitch coil punch die. Keeping an eye on the paper guides in the front, you want to align the size paper with this type of die that you're using. This dial knob on the right side allows you to fine-tune to get those lines exactly perfect. Drop your paper now in between the 2 paper guides into the throat of the machine, slide it to the right until it stops, and adjust this final stop. And we're ready. And everything works together to create your punched book. Just watch the speed and efficiency of this punch, ejector, and stacker system. And that is Rhino Tuff's Onyx Apes 14, automatic paper ejector and stacker module. This is just one more part of the Rhino Tuff Onyx series.